if you feel frustrated because you don't have control over your money, if you feel frustrated because you don't have enough money, or your debt is too high, or you spend too much, welcome to my tribe. So I do have some experience with this, and I'm not all the way where I want to be, but I can tell you that I'm farther along than I ever was. And some of the reasons that brought that about were when I became a coach and I began to help people uncover how they were sabotaging themselves in their own lives and how they had created their lives in the way that they didn't like. And I began to realize that I was pretty unhappy about my money situation. I had a lot of worry, and I had some bad habits that I had to begin to face. And I tell you what, being a coach is, best thing about being a coach is the accountability, because I can't hide. And I have to take action. I have to grow and continue moving forward, or I'm the biggest hypocrite that I ever met. So one of the things that I began to realize about my own money situation and my unhappiness about it in facing it was I hated having to take do the money finances in my household. And my thought was, why do I have to do it? Why doesn't my husband have to do it? And we'd agreed a long time ago that I would do it, and I just didn't like it. So why didn't I balance my checkbook? Because I hated it. So the first thing I began to do was just decide, well, what is there really to hate about this? I kind of took it apart and analyzed it, and yeah, I didn't like doing it. I didn't like the process of it, and that's true. And I didn't like stopping, to have to do it, and So I decided to look at what there was to love about it. What could I love about it? And there were a couple of things in there that appealed to me. One was feeling like I had control and could, that I decided what to do with my money. Feeling like I knew how much money I had. Feeling like my obligations were met. And just knowing I had a plan and I had something that I could do about it. There's just something about feeling like you have control that's very appealing. So I actually started to do that, and the one thing that I could do to begin to make a change for myself was to balance my checkbook. Before I began to balance my checkbook, I had to really get in touch with the pain I was feeling. I mean, this is a big problem for me. And, when I talk with people, I thought I was the only one in the world that didn't balance my checkbook, and I thought everybody else was so great at it. And I come to find out now, I sort of did a little impromptu survey. And the survey said that, no, people they don't balance their checkbook. They don't know what's in it. And they just always keep this, extra amount in there. But they don't really have control and they don't really create what it is that they want to create with their money. And they're just not paying attention. So people are basically asleep, and people don't want to deal with it. And there is a lot of worry and anxiety about it. People's paychecks, people live paycheck to paycheck, and their money doesn't meet it every month. They don't have enough to cover what it is that they've spent their money on for the month. And there's just a lot of frustration about it, and a lot of people that feel that they just don't make enough money, because I'll tell you the truth, we spend as much as we make, and that's just a principle too that we have to be aware of. Is whatever money we make, we're going to match that in the amount of spending that we do a month. We're going to do it in psychological and emotional spending. We're going to do it in kind of celebrating and feeling like we deserve it, which is good. We do deserve it. But we have to be aware of what our pain is around the money. Okay, so frustration comes about with, not having enough money or having this high debt. Victimhood. What happens in victimhood is it's not our fault. We tend to, blame the economy. You might blame the Democrats. You might blame the Republicans. You might blame your husband for spending too much, or your wife for spending too much. And, there just seems to be this universal negative energy around money. And so what we need to do then, how do we solve it? Got to do the opposite of being a victim, which is take responsibility. You created it. whatever it is that your money problem is right now, you created that situation, and the only way to gain control of it is to own that. And that's the awareness part. So the first principle is to be aware of where your head is at around money, and also to be aware of what has brought you, and be aware of your pain. That's the only way to begin to do something different about it, because as soon as you start to make changes that are going to rock your world, that are going to upset the balance of your life, everything in the world, your ego, your shadow, your own resistance to change, and your own bad habits are going to come in and kind of wreak havoc with that. You'll tell yourself, oh, it's not that big of a deal. You'll tell yourself, there isn't anything that I can do about it. You know, for me, I don't have the kind of retirement that I would hoped to have had by now in my life. But for you, it might not be about retirement. Maybe it's about high student debt. Maybe it's high credit card debt. You might even have lost your job. What I mostly hear from people who have lost their job is, oh, I don't have a job. How is that my fault? And they're not really saying that, but they're saying that there isn't anything that they can do. They're acting as though there isn't anything that they can do. And that is a victim position. And as long as there isn't anything that you can do about it, you're off the hook. You've let yourself off the hook. And you'll never solve it. You'll never ever solve it with blaming or victimhood or avoiding the issues. So I recommend the first thing that you do is to awaken and become aware of your pain, and how it is that the worry that causes you to stay awake at night, or it keeps you from being able to go to sleep, keeps you from being happy, keeps you from being able to enjoy life. Okay, and then the next thing you need to do is take action. Awareness without action is almost worse than being asleep. So as soon as you're aware, you got to take action and begin to do some things that will make the change for you. For me, I balanced my checkbook. I fell in love with how that made me feel, to have the control that I needed for it. For you, it might be something else. It might be to do something else for yourself instead of spending money to feel better. Figure out why you feel bad in the first place. That's the best place to start. And then do one thing that would be really important to you. For me, I instantly knew what it was, and for you, I'm sure that the same thing will happen. And then the second thing that you can do to take action is have gratitude and appreciate all the things that you pay money out for. You might feel like you're paying bills and that your money went and you don't have any money to enjoy, but look at what you are enjoying. For me, I enjoy a home that's secure, and all my stuff that I've accumulated for all these years, all my memories are secure in my home. And I just am grateful when I make that payment that I have this. And I'm grateful that I have a warm house, because it's wintertime here and it's like 15 degrees. And I am so glad I'm inside and not outside. I have garbage pickup. All I have to do is cart my garbage out to the curb. I don't have to go haul it for miles or out to the dump. Somebody does that for me, and I'm glad to pay for that, the garbage and the sewer. So I'm just very, very grateful for when I, make those payments for what I have in return for those payments. And I'll tell you what, I promise you that you begin to have gratitude and appreciation for those things that are in your life, you will find that you always have an abundance. Gratitude brings abundance more than anything else. It's just, you might think it's hokey or silly or whatever, and go ahead, please make comments to this video in the comments section. I'll be more than glad to meet you with this challenge. It's if you feel like it's full of crap, go ahead and say that. I challenge you to think about it, try it, see if it works, because I honestly know that this works, and that changing your attitude to positiveness and control, and deciding that you get to create it, and deciding that you're the one that has created it the way it looks right now in your life, that is the truth, and I'm here to speak the truth. So that's me, Sheri Fawson, the Heart-to-Heart Guru, and have a good time getting control over your money, okay? Thanks. Bye-bye.